Respected viewers and listeners of Mystical Islam, peace be upon you. Dear friends, when a deceased child was being washed in Makkah Mukarramah, the child miraculously came back to life, and what he said left everyone astonished. Cries of Allahu Akbar resounded everywhere, and the child's mother fell into prostration, weeping. Upon hearing this entire incident, believe me, your hair will stand on end, realizing that indeed Allah Almighty hears prayers and has power over all things. To know all about this, stay with us till the end of the video, and before proceeding, please confirm that you have subscribed to our channel, Mystical Islam. If not, then subscribe immediately and click on the bell icon so that you receive timely notifications of our upcoming videos. So let's begin today's video. Dear friends, you all might know that many such incidents keep happening where we hear and see that a certain person came back to life before burial or before being laid to rest. Some people even came back to life in their graves, and upon hearing their voices, when the grave was reopened, they were found alive inside. Social media is filled with such stories and news, but the incident we are going to tell and show you today is a tale of a mother's sorrow whose prayers had such power that Allah brought life back into her child. Knowing this will bring tears to your eyes. Friends, Javaria, a resident of Sargodha, Pakistan, got married 10 years ago. Javaria was a modest and pious girl who loved her husband dearly. She was devout in her worship of Allah Almighty, regular in her prayers and fasting. It had been 5 years since Javaria's marriage, but she was not having any children. Day by day, her desire to become a mother was growing stronger. Her husband loved her immensely. He often tried to console her, saying, "Don't worry. If it's in our fate to have children, Allah will surely grant them to us. But don't distress yourself over this matter." Both had undergone medical treatments for having children. Everything was fine, but still, they were not having any children. 8 years passed like this. In those 8 years, there was hardly a prayer where Javaria hadn't wept and asked Allah Almighty for offspring. To bring her peace, her husband thought they should go for Umrah. He took his wife for Umrah, where Javaria asked for nothing but a child. With every breath, standing before the Kaaba, her only prayer was that Allah grant her the blessing of a child. Friends, upon returning from Umrah, her prayers were finally answered, and that very year, Allah blessed them with a son. The joy of both husband and wife knew no bounds. They thought of going for Umrah again the following year, to offer a prostration of gratitude at the house of Allah. The child was 1.5 years old when they took him to the Kaaba to offer their gratitude. But friends, what happened was that the child became severely ill upon reaching there. Both parents became extremely worried because they had obtained him through such intense prayers. The child was their hope for living, but perhaps Allah wanted to test them further. Friends, the severe fever was not subsiding at all. After 3 days, the child passed away. Saudi doctors handed over the child's body to them. The father, in deep sorrow, exercised patience and remained silent. But Javaria was not ready to accept that Allah could give her a child and then take him back like this. She went to the Kaaba, held on to the house of Allah, and started crying bitterly, saying, "O Allah, I received this child from your house. If you have the power to give me offspring, then you also have the power to take him back. Doctors say my son has died, but you are seeing, and only you have the power to bring life back into him." Dear friends, Javaria was exhausted from praying and crying there for hours. On the other side, the father had sent the son to be washed for burial right there in the Kaaba. When the child was being washed and shrouded, friends, a strange miracle occurred. The child, who had been declared dead, suddenly opened his eyes and his silent heart started beating. Subhanallah. The person washing him heard him reciting the Kalima Shahada and then starting to cry. A child so young reciting the Kalima Shahada and coming back to life is nothing short of a miracle. Immediately, the child was taken back to the hospital. This was extremely surprising for the doctors as well. They had confirmed his death after checking in every possible way. In any case, Javaria's prayers had been heard. friends, and Allah Almighty had to listen to a mother's plea. Indeed, Allah Almighty has power over all things, and He certainly has the ability and right to test His servants. Friends, having faith in Allah is what fulfills your desires, for there is no one to fulfill needs except Him, and He is the helper, and indeed those who seek help from Him are helped. It is the belief of Muslims that this life is a trust from Allah, and one day we have to return to Him. Another incident occurred where a person started speaking at his own funeral. What happened was that one night, a young man named Shahid Baloch passed away. After that, announcements were made for the funeral prayer in the morning. In the morning, after giving him a bath and shrouding him, they took him towards the graveyard. The grave was ready there, but shortly after, Shahid Baloch opened his eyes, but no one noticed. And when he stood up, relatives and friends became frightened and ran miles away. Then they started watching him from a distance. Then he called out to them, saying, "Come, I am alive. Don't be afraid of me." His friend came close first, and then everyone approached him. But when his family members, who had sent their child in a shroud, saw him walking on his own feet, their happiness was indescribable. From that day onwards, he began to be called Allah Wala Baloch, God's man Baloch, in the surrounding area. Such incidents, friends, are shown to us humans by Allah so that we may walk on the path He has shown us. It should be clear that this incident occurred about 8 years ago when the deceased started speaking at his own funeral. Anyway, now Allah Wala Baloch is living his life safely. Friends, now let us tell you about a person who is a mortician, and during washing, a strange incident of a dead person coming back to life occurred with him. Muhammad Siddiq, who belongs to Karachi, has been washing dead bodies for the past 25 years. Muhammad Siddiq not only washes the dead, but also prepares them to be taken to their final resting place. With a beard on his face, wrinkles on his hands and face, and a kind of fear on his forehead that is indescribable. Although Muhammad Siddiq has been washing the dead for 25 years, each time he experiences something new. The mortician says, "I have washed many dead bodies, 20 to 25 in a day. At night, bodies also come. Sometimes there isn't even time to eat." Muhammad Siddiq has also washed burnt bodies, but he says that less water is poured on such bodies. At that time, tears come to Muhammad Siddiq's eyes when a child's body is brought. He says, "When I wash a child's body, I become sad and worried." Muhammad Siddiq himself is the father of 10 children, so he becomes sad upon seeing a child's body. During the corona situation, Muhammad Siddiq used to receive 200 to 300 bodies daily. Regarding an incident that happened in his life, Muhammad Siddiq says, "Once, I was washing a body when suddenly the dead person came back to life. The person's children also came inside and started meeting their father. The person said, 'Why have you brought me here?' His children said, 'You were in a coma and doctors had declared you dead.' But Muhammad Siddiq was even more surprised when 2 years later, the same person's body was brought again for washing. This time, the children themselves came inside and said, 'Please check again to see if our father is alive.' To which Muhammad Siddiq said, 'No, now he has passed away.' Friends, what would you say about this? Do share your opinions in the comments. If you liked the video, please like it and share it with your friends. Before leaving, once again confirm that you have subscribed to our channel Mystical Islam. If not, then subscribe now and click on the bell icon so that you receive timely notifications of our upcoming videos. Take good care of yourself and of those whom no one cares for. We will meet you again in the next video. Until then, may Allah be your protector.